It's been called Notre Dame's stained glass battle. 6 stained glass windows are being replaced by new modern ones, but several associations are up in arms trying to block their removal. The case has been brought to court, which has issued its first decision this week. To tell us more about why there is so much tension around Notre Dame's stained glasses, we can welcome Shirli Sitbon from our news desk. So, Shirley, tell us what this story's about.
Well, the story is about this unbelievable fire. We can talk again and go back in history to 2019. You remember that fire? We covered it here. And at the time, there was so much damage, and we can see some images from the fire at the time. There was so much damage. And the building, the monument, was saved thanks to the courage of firemen and so many teams, engineers, and various people, hundreds and thousands of people who worked there. But one thing was preserved, was not damaged at all, were the stained glass windows, which, for heritage experts, this is actually pretty miraculous. So they were preserved. Nevertheless, as the building was restored, an idea emerged. Why not replace 6 of those windows that you see when you go into the building? Maybe we can see that right now. We can see some of them. They're, when you enter, it's the south side of Notre Dame Cathedral on the right when you enter the building. And the idea was to replace that. Now, there's a commission in France. Its opinion is not binding, but there are a group of experts, National Commission of Heritage and Architecture, and they unanimously rejected the idea. Why? Because this is a listed site, a historical listed site, and to replace some of these elements, important elements of such a site, they have to be damaged, and these stained glass windows are not damaged. So the case was brought to court, and only a few days ago, the court brought a first decision. Before looking into the matter, it said it will not suspend the replacement of these stained glass windows. Everyone can go ahead with it. They will be replaced in coming weeks because they said, well, it's not an emergency and they can always be brought back. So let's listen to the president of one of the associations who brought the case to court. His name is Julien Lassalle, and his association is called Sites and Monuments.
The Commission also spoke in light of the Venice Charter, which is a fundamental, almost universal document. It states that heritage substance should not be removed from a monument. And that's what makes this decision completely unprecedented. Until now, stained glass windows were replaced when they had been destroyed, for example, during a war, or when they had been lost because they had disappeared over time. But here, the difficulty is that heritage material that is listed as part of a historic monument, is being removed in order to replace it with something else. And the Commission considered that this set a very, very bad precedent, bad not only for Notre Dame, but also for other historic monuments, which could then invoke this precedent in the future.
So, Shirley, if this replacement goes against international conventions, why just go ahead and replace them? I mean, why do that?
Well, Emmanuel Macron answered that question. He, along with the Archbishop of Paris, together, they submitted this idea. Emmanuel Macron, the French president, said the idea is to leave the mark of the century on this centuries-old monument. Now, the Commission says that's not good enough. They say, actually, that there are other areas in Notre Dame, and we can see that, areas where there is stained glass, but it's all white, so it can be replaced. That does not go against any convention. But the idea is that the stained glass windows, which will be replaced, are right when you get into the building. They're not in the back. You don't have to walk a lot to see them. So tourists and visitors will see them right away. Now, we can see some of those works that will be placed there in coming weeks. There were made by artist Claire Tabouret, and she won the contest to put them in place. And what the experts are saying is that the new stained glass will be put in place. There will be a first trial, perhaps a second trial, various appeals. This will take a long time. We'll see what the courts decide. But in the end, the idea of the president was to bring something positive into the situation, was pretty dramatic. The fact that there was a fire means that there were problems with the way the building was being managed, with security, with various measures taken. They want something positive. But the thing is that experts say that now this will drag on for quite a while after this week's decision. And in the end, the final decision could come to the Conseil d'État, the top body here in France. And there's a new president, the new leader of the Conseil d'État, which was named by President Emmanuel Macron. And in the end, maybe he will be the one to make that decision.